Hello, welcome back to Turf Talk. I'm James Scully, joined by Vance Hansen. And Vance, last weekend we had the Arlington Million International Festival Racing Program in Arlington Park, and Beach Patrol earned his first win since capturing last year's Secretariat there. I thought had a good trip from outside post from Rosario, and got a good trip. Got surged to win it in the stretch. The real story, perhaps, was Deauville, who really looked like was a great position to win the race in upper stretch, and you could say hung a little bit, finishing third.
Yeah, he had a perfect opportunity to run up the rail and put this race away at the top of the stretch under Ryan Moore, but like you said, he kind of came up flat in the stretch, and Beach Patrol had a really good ride in that particular race and cemented a big day for trainer Chad Brown, who also won the Beverly D with Desita. So,
really?
You said, Beach Patrol, this was his first win since the Secretariat of last year. He's definitely a horse for the course in Arlington.
Right, and you would think next year's Arlington Million, if he stays in training, he'll be aimed for a repeat bid again. Desita, like you mentioned, she had recorded all three of her U.S. Stakes wins in New York, so that was a little bit of a feather in her cap, earning her first Grade 1 victory outside of the state. And Chad Brown's other entry, Grand Hete, had a troubled trip, so both his fillies ran, I thought, really big races.
Yeah, I was on the latter filly and just didn't have any room in the upper stretch. Had to shift out and just got her rally uncorked a little bit too late to catch Desita. But I expect to see more from both of them as the season progresses. And the Breeders' Cup filly and mare Turf is at 1 1/8 this year, the shortest it's ever been when it's at Del Mar, and that's going to help a filly like Desita rather than maybe stretching out to 1 3/8, which has been the typical distance for the Breeders' Cup race on a 7-furlong course.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I mean, it usually is. It's like you have like some mares from mares from Europe come over and be cross-entered to both that race, the filly and mare Turf and the Turf, because the distances are a lot more similar than they will be this year. The other Grade 1 stake at Arlington was the Secretariat for 3-year-olds, and we exited with an interesting storyline with Oscar Performance winning his third straight stakes race. He won the Pennine Ridge, which is a Grade 2, and then has won back-to-back Grade 1s. For Brian Lynch. And you wrote a good piece this week, I thought, at Brisnet about he's got an outside chance for champion 3-year-old honors because the 3-year-old division, while there's some depth to it, it's an uncertainty at the top. If he was able to come back and beat older horses in the Joe Hirsch, he would then head to the Breeders' Cup Turf, theoretically, with a chance even to make even a stronger case. But a victory in that Joe Hirsch would go a long way with voters, potentially.
It would, and just to lay things out historically, no grass specialist or a horse that's run exclusively on grass has ever won the 3-year-old Male Eclipse Award ever in its history.
Right.
And that's basically because, of all the divisions in racing, because the Triple Crown is on dirt, it's a more tradition-minded division, and frankly there hasn't been too many grass 3-year-olds in the past that have done so much to eclipse what's happened on the main track. But
right.
Like you said, Oscar Performance does have the multiple Grade 1 victories now. He could add that victory against older males in the Turf Classic, and we'll find out more if this is even a possibility next week with the Travers Stakes. If a horses like Gunavera or McCracken pop up and win the Travers,
essentially about half the field.
Yeah, it's going to throw even more chaos into the division than there already is right now. And as I wrote in my piece, the Eclipse Award electorate, at least in the last 20 years or so, has become a lot more malleable. They're looking beyond the conventional and the traditional aspects of choosing champions, voting for turf horses as, champion older male and the such, champion 3-year-old fillies. So, this could be an opportunity for them to show their unconventional wisdom once again and give this division to a grass horse for the first time. So we'll see.
Yeah, and that's a good point. You mentioned traditionalists, and there will be traditionalists, even if he was to win out, who will say he should be champion turf horse. Kitten's Joy and some other 3-year-olds have won it, but like you mentioned, the Triple Crown is such a huge part of the American racing landscape. It's a rarity. Like, I think Arrogate and Tiz Now are the only horses to win champion 3-year-old in the last 20 some years that didn't race in the Triple Crown. So it's an uphill battle for Oscar performance, but it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, and I made the point personally, I'm not going to vote for Oscar performance no matter what he does. I view this as an award to showcase the very best dirt performers in this country. My point is that the rest of the electorate doesn't think the way that I think, in the terms that I think, and so I give him a chance to win the award, but not with my support.
All right, well, we'll be interested to see how this continues to develop. We got the Travers up ahead in like a week and a half, and then we'll, I'm sure, be perhaps talking about this topic again in the future. So thank you for joining us for Turf Talk. We'll see you next time.